Hey guys, welcome back to another video here on the channel. Hyundai has just released the 2025 pricing and packaging guide for the upcoming refreshed 2025 Hyundai Santa Cruz. And with this full pricing guide comes some changes or items that I actually missed in my 2025 changes video that I posted last month. So I want to correct that information here inside of this video. Of course, we're also going to cover the full pricing across every trim lineup, including some interesting changes to pricing that are both benefits as well as detriments depending on the trim level that you are looking at. Cover the full color availability across the lineup, including the discontinuation of California Sand, which you do see here beside me, as well as cover the availability as to when these vehicles will actually start arriving at your local dealership. So without further ado, let's go ahead and not waste any time and get right into it. So first up, as usual, I want to quickly run through each trim level in specific and tell you what features are being gained and or lost on that specific trim level. And I will have the features highlighted that I missed in that video that I posted last month here on the channel. So if you've already watched that and are familiar with some of the upcoming changes, the highlighted items are the ones that you really need to pay attention to. So starting out with the base entry-level SE, of course, as we know, it's getting the 12.3-inch infotainment system with wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, over-the-air update capability, and a host of other features that really do make the SE very valuable within the lineup and really bring it up to date versus that of the 2024 model. Now, the items I missed in the changes video is that the SE is gaining the LED map and overhead dome lighting, as well as the rear center armrest with cup holders as standard equipment. Now, the SE fortunately does not lose any equipment over that of 2024, so it's only getting better for 2025, which is great to see. Now, moving on to the SEL, it of course gains the same items as the base SE, including that updated infotainment system. It is now getting HTEX leatherette interior instead of the cloth. So the only trim level with cloth is now the entry-level SE. It's getting rear AC vents, front and rear USB-C charge ports, and of course the same overhead LED map and dome lighting. But the items I missed in the previous video was the roof side rails as well as the rear center armrest with cup holders are being added to the SEL and higher. Now, formerly those roof side rails were found on the activity package, which is one step up of base SEL, but Hyundai is moving that feature down one trim level. So now the SEL or higher will be able to have the roof rack capability if you do choose to use that. SEL is not losing any features, which is nice to see. Now, moving on to the SEL activity package, of course, as we know, it's getting the 12.3-inch infotainment system, HTEX seating surfaces, and the same USB rear AC vent situation. And the only item I missed on this particular trim level in the previous video was the rear center armrest with cup holders is standard across every Santa Cruz. So activity package is getting at. In terms of the features lost on the activity package, it is losing built-in navigation as well as dynamic voice recognition, which with that updated infotainment system and wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, not exactly sure how many people are going to miss that feature, but it is something worth noting. Now, moving on to the XRT, which is actually the trim level seen behind me. It is getting a lot of updates for the 2025 refresh versus this model behind me, but it's actually losing a couple things, which this one has that the 2025 will not. So starting out with the features gained, it's getting the 12.3-inch infotainment system with built-in navigation, also includes wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, and over-the-air software capability. 12.3-inch digital cluster, rear AC vents, front and rear USB-C charge ports. It's getting Smart Cruise Control 2, which I already mentioned, which includes enhanced functionality, and this pricing guide did confirm that functionality is there, just like that of the 2025 Tucson model, which includes the emergency stop function as well as the forward attention monitor mounted on the steering column, which essentially monitors the face and the eyes to make sure you're paying attention while using some of these driver assistance technologies. And with Smart Cruise Control 2, it actually has an emergency stop function, which I have tested on the Tucson. I haven't been able to get it to fully activate, but it will start slowing down and eventually stop the vehicle if it detects you are unresponsive and or not paying attention, among a host of other criteria. So that will be coming to XRT trim level and higher on the Santa Cruz lineup. Of course, it's getting Digital Key 2.0 touch, the surround view monitor, and it also includes the blind spot view monitor on the XRT models, which I did not have that information as of me posting the former video. So it's both getting the 360 surround view monitor as well as the blind spot view monitor in that nicer digital cluster. Of course, Highway Drive Assist 1, the slightly more aggressive all-terrain tires with front recovery hooks, and it's also getting the rear center armrest with cup holders as well as the tow haul mode, for a dry mode selection in addition to the other dry modes which are currently found inside of that vehicle. So all 2.5 liter turbocharged Santa Cruzes will now get the dedicated tow haul drive mode, which they did not have for the 2024 and previous model years. Now, in terms of the XRT features lost, this is one of the items which is actually very, very surprising to me and one I did not expect to see coming. There's going to be two features that are going to be lost on the XRT versus that equivalent 2024 as seen behind me. It's going to be the sunroof as well as the auto-dimming interior rearview mirror. Those are the two items that I was able to find on the updated pricing guide that are actually no longer going to be available. And the sunroof is actually listed as a conventional sunroof delete on the XRT, where it'll be found on the SEL activity package and the limited, but unfortunately not in that middle trim level of the XRT. So if you're looking for a sunroof, unfortunately that is no longer going to be had on the XRT in specific. And it is a bummer to see the auto dimming interior rearview mirror now only going to be available on the most expensive limited model as well. Now finally, moving on to the limited features gained. Of course, we have the same infotainment with the updated navigation, wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay. It is getting a 6-way power passenger seat. I had in my notes that it was going to be an 8-way function, but it is going to be a 6-way power passenger seat, which is still great to see on a vehicle like that, and of course matches the Hyundai Tucson Limited. It's also getting the Smart Cruise Control 2 with the emergency stop, as well as the forward attention monitor system, digital key 2.0 touch, fingerprint scanner on the left side of the dashboard, and it's also getting the integrated memory driver seat, rear center armrest, tow haul mode, as well as a new dark green interior color option among the black and gray, which are currently already available. So it's going to be roughly the same interior options as of the 2025 Hyundai Tucson. I'm not exactly sure if this dark green interior is the gray green like the Tucson Limited has, or if it's entirely a dark green. Will be interesting to see that, but there will be 3 different interior color choices available on the Santa Cruz Limited versus that of the other trim levels in the lineup, which of course only have the black and gray. So cool to see that they are giving a new interior option on the Limited trim, and the Limited does not lose any additional features, which is also awesome to see. Now next, moving on to the colors and the color availability within the lineup. The only color that is being discontinued is the one seen behind me. That is the California Sand exterior, which has been around pretty much since the Santa Cruz was introduced in 2022. It did get a slight naming revision over the years. But anyways, so the upcoming 2025 model year will be available in Atlas White, Phantom Black, Hampton Gray, Sage Gray, Bluestone, Rockwood Green, as well as Canyon Red. And the 2 new ones are going to be the Rockwood Green as well as the Canyon Red. Now, in terms of the chart, which I'll have up on the screen so you guys can actually follow along, it shows Rockwood Green as not being available on the base SE trim, but I can confirm that there are units already built and, pretty much going to be in transit here very shortly that are entry-level SE models finished in that Rockwood Green. So if you do want the cheapest entry-level Santa Cruz in Rockwood Green, you might want to spring for one of these early units, because maybe that's something they are tweaking over the 2025 production or whatnot. But on this chart, it shows not available, but it is going to be available at least at the time of launch on that base SE model. And of course, Rockwood Green is going to be available on pretty much every other trim level as well. I did not find, I don't believe, an XRT in that color. I can't remember, but it is worth noting that Canyon Red appears to be an XRT exclusive color, at least at the time of launch. Not exactly sure if that will be coming in the future or not, but there are going to be some interior color limitations depending on which exterior color you want. For example, that Canyon Red is only available with the black interior, which again is only the only interior option on the XRT, which makes sense. And then that new dark green interior on the Limited, for example, shows available on Rockwood Green, Sage Gray, Phantom Black, as well as Atlas White as the only options there. But across the board, there is going to be a pretty readily available interior and exterior color combinations. So good to see that. Now finally, coming to the information you guys are probably most curious about, and that is the pricing information. There are going to be some big changes depending on which one you are wanting, but there are going to be some surprising decreases as well, which I'm glad to see. So starting with the SE front-wheel drive, the cheapest entry-level Santa Cruz, including destination, will now start at $29,895, which represents a $1,600 increase over that of a former 2024. Now continuing on, an SEL front-wheel drive now starts at $31,595. This is an increase of about $550. SEL Activity front wheel drive, which is the highest front wheel drive model you can get, is now $34,595. This is a decrease of $110. And then moving into the all-wheel drive models, you guys can go ahead and read those for yourself, but in SEL Activity all-wheel drive is now going to be $36,095. XRT all-wheel drive is $41,395, and a limited, which again only comes in all-wheel drive, is $43,895, which represents a $1,180 increase over an equivalent 2024. So basically, the SEL Activity package and XRT went down about $100 over 2024, and then the SEL, SE, and Limited all increase between $550 all the way up to $1,600, depending on which one you are looking at. So with that information in mind, there is definitely some bargains or some better values versus an equivalent 2024, given a lot of these models are gaining equipment and not really losing anything worth noting. But there's also going to be some, pretty significant or noticeable increase in price, specifically on that base model and the fully equipped Limited. But again, that Limited is getting a lot of enhanced technology and a few additional features, such as that power passenger seat, the memory driver seat, and all the usual features that do come in that fully loaded model. So very similar to that of the Hyundai Tucson Limited for this next model year on the Santa Cruz Limited. But you guys will have to let me know your thoughts on the pricing changes down in the comment section below. Now, finally, you guys might be wondering, when are these going to be available at your local dealership? Well, I'm happy to announce that many are actually already built, ready to go in transit. And the current ETA on some of these early build ones are going to be the middle of September. So basically in 3 to 4 weeks of me posting this video, they should be at least in transit, if not already on your local dealership lot, as long as they have, an early allocation and, the ones are already built, ready to go at this point. So I'm happy to say that we will see these hopefully by the end of September, and I hopefully will be able to bring you guys some in-person content hands-on with these vehicles, like I said, by the end of next month. So pretty cool to see that. You guys let me know if you guys have a deposit and or are interested in purchasing a 2025 model down in the comment section below. I know a lot of you guys did comment on my last changes video that you guys were interested in purchasing the refresh model and curious about when these are going to arrive. And that is going to be the latest information I have available for you as to when you should see them roughly at your local dealership. But anyways, with that information in mind, there's definitely going to be some better values versus a 2024 equivalent here with this refresh, including the SEL Activity in specific. Went down $110, didn't really lose anything, and gained a handful of options and features among that new technology. So as a whole, I think the SEL Activity is going to remain a very strong value within the lineup and a fairly desirable trim level, given it is the most fully equipped or the highest model with the 2.5 liter naturally aspirated 4-cylinder and the 8-speed automatic transmission. Now, I also believe the XRT is going to be a very reasonable value as well, given the slight decrease, the features being gained, including the surround view monitor, blind spot view monitor, some of the updated technology, etc. I think that is actually going to be a standout value in the lineup as well if you want the turbocharged engine with the dual clutch, and of course some of the exclusive colors, the slightly more capable off-road tires with the front recovery hooks, etc. I think the XRT is going to be a better buy versus maybe an equivalent one behind me, as long as you don't really want the sunroof. And then finally, taking a look at some of the other models, I think the standard SEL is actually going to be a pretty good option as well, assuming you don't want the cloth interior, you're okay with the H-Techs and all the updates that they did make for that vehicle. I think at the $31,000 price point, I think that is going to be very competitive. And then on the base model side of things, I'm glad they kept the base entry-level one under $30,000, including destination. But at the same time, that's a pretty significant increase that personally I was not expecting on that side of the spectrum, but was kind of considering that the Limited would likely go up over $1,000 like the Tucson Limited did for its refresh. But anyways, you guys will have to let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything about the refresh 2025 Santa Cruz down in the comment section below. Do you have one on order or on deposit at your local dealership? If so, which combination, including trim and color, are you most interested in purchasing? And yeah, just let me know all that down in the comment section below. As always, I appreciate continued support. If you guys enjoyed this video and or found it helpful, make sure to hit that like button below, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out some additional content I have here on the refresh 2025 Hyundai Tucson, because a lot of that technology And interior refresh is going to carry over to the Santa Cruz as well, which is also going to be built down in Montgomery, Alabama. So that remains a U.S. production vehicle, which is always fantastic to see. I actually have toured that plant many years ago. It was very cool to see that facility in person, and would highly recommend taking the tour if you do get the opportunity. But anyways, as always, I appreciate continued support. So hope to see you guys in the next one.